From the heart of Big Ten country, Los Angeles, California, Ryan Abraham and David Woods present the Podcast of Champions.
I'm just grooving. It's great. Welcome, everybody, back to the Podcast of Champions. I'm David Woods from Bruin Report Online, the UCLA site on the 24/7 Sports Network.
And I'm Ryan Abraham from USCFootball.com, the USC site on the 24/7 Sports Network. And together we make the Podcast of Champions, talking all things Big Ten football. Hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas. It is December 26th. I'm in my sister's basement in Alexandria, Virginia. It's 10:30 here, but it's 7:30 where David is. In the time zone of gods.
I woke up at 7:15 the day after Christmas for you, the people. You understand?
Yeah, storage unit says
being made.
Ryan must be on vacation in some far off land where it isn't 7:30 a.m. No, yes, I'm in Alexandria, Virginia. And I'm sorry.
Do you know why we're doing this, people? Do you know why we're doing this?
Because there's two freaking bowl games today.
because Northwestern football. That's why. If you're ever wondering why we're very precariously do we continue doing this show? It's because we have to concern ourselves with things like Northwestern football and recording at 7:30 a.m. to take care of them.
Yeah, we got to do that. This was really the only time we could do it. It's travel. It's weird, but we're here. David's home. I'm, like I said, in my sister's basement. Hopefully we sound okay. Email us, big10cast@gmail.com for any email questions. You can call or text us at 424-532-0678. We can get texts today, but no voicemails because I don't have my soundboard with me. Tweet us at B1G Podcast. And if you have Apple or Spotify, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. We did a Spotify review last week, or a comment. Jacob, so he said, hey, Jacob, write me and I'll send you a gift card. You know what he did, David? He said, I want to donate that Trader Joe's gift card to the food bank. So I go over to Salvation Army in Redondo Beach. So I will donate that gift card in Jacob's name to the Salvation Army. So happy holidays to you, Jacob. Thanks for doing that.
What a king. What a king.
That's very sweet, I think. We got a lot. Yeah, we got a lot of crap we got to get to today, including a crap ton of bowl games. I know I said crap twice. We did do our picks for the opening round with Oregon and JMU. Cover City, backdoor. We both got screwed, so that wasn't a good start. But
the first black mark against Bob Chesney for me, honestly. Could you not have just accepted your blowout, sir? Could you not have? Come on.
Just accept the blowout. We're going to get to that, but it's December, man. It's expensive. It's the day after Christmas. Maybe a bunch of returns and stuff today. But if you're betting with MyBookie, it doesn't have to be that expensive. We got the 12 days of Christmas that were going on. There are daily offers going on all the time over at MyBookie, over the sports betting and at the casino. There's bets and gets. There's profit boosts. You got free spins. You got drop-ins on social media. It's packed with a lot of football. You got the NFL, obviously bowl games coming up, the playoffs, which is great. 5 games of NBA action were on Christmas Day. That was a lot of fun. College hoops, all of those are opportunities to cash in. So if you go to MyBookie now, use our promo code POC, and your first bet will be covered up to $500. So if you go big and miss in that first bet, no big deal. Use the bet back bonus token, and you can run it back. So you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only at MyBookie.
Gorgeous read. Honestly,
Thanks,
top
sir.
marks.
Appreciate
10 out of
it.
10. 5 stars. Would listen to again.
We do have some breaking news. I don't have my soundboard with me, but as of this morning, which is early here on the East Coast, it looked like Michigan might have their guy. So Dan Wetzel and Pete Thamel put out there that our former guy, Kyle Whittingham, and someone tweeted out this morning, Cam Rising still has a year of eligibility, is the top candidate for the Michigan job. Made a lot of sense to me. When I first read about that, I think we mentioned this on the last show too. the way Jerome Moore was, ousted, you need some kind of a stopgap. You probably want to sack Ward Manuel, the athletic director. So you bring in Kyle Whittingham, couple years, fixes things up, gets things right. You got a new AD. They have time to pick who they want to be their next head coach of the future instead of 66-year-old Kyle Whittingham. But this makes a lot of sense to me. It might be final sometime later today. I don't know. What did you think about it, David?
I think it's a good hire. I think more than a lot. So Kyle Whittingham's track record of success makes him a kind of a slam dunk hire for a lot of schools. The only thing that would give me pause about Kyle Whittingham is he has spent almost literally his entire career at Utah, and inherited that program, sustained it, but it's a different ball of wax what he's running into at Michigan. He is 66 years old. There's a factor of I have done things a certain way for 30 years, 35 years, however long he's been at Utah, not including his head coaching years, but also his coordinator years. And does that all fit at Michigan? I've got relationships with boosters that go back 30 years at Utah. I don't know any of these people at Michigan. How's that all work? So I think there's reason for, optimism for Michigan. I think given the state of play right now, it's one of the better hires you could make. Yeah. What I would have been thinking of if I was them is, am I making a hire as a stopgap, or am I making a hire that I think could turn into, potentially another run at a national title in 4 years? And for me, that would have been weighing the options between Kyle Whittingham on one hand and then like a Jason Eck on the other, where, he's at a lower level, but he is kicking ass at, I believe the school is New Mexico. New Mexico, as we're going to get into in a little bit, I think they're favored in a bowl game right now, against a Big Ten team. Am I wrong?
No, they're a slight underdog.
Okay, 1.5 point underdogs. Right. Sorry. But it's New Mexico. They shouldn't be. And they lost most of their team to UNLV. What they've done this year is pretty impressive. So that's, and I'm being a devil's advocate. I think Kyle Whittingham is a good hire. I think, there's risk associated with any hire. But I would just been thinking, am I looking for like somebody who can actually manage the future of this thing, or am I just looking for a stabilizing agent? I think they went with stabilizing the agent, and I might have gone with upside, and the potential future of the thing. And also, Kyle Whittingham's going to cost a lot more money.
Oh, I don't know. You think he will? You think he'll cost more money?
He's old.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he's just doing it to do it now. I don't think he's going to try to break the bank. That whole coaching.
I think he's going to be getting like $9 or $10 million a year.
Okay. Well, that's pretty
I'd
big.
be surprised if he isn't. But maybe I could be wrong, but I would be surprised.
Yeah. The coaching waiting thing never really works, because once you start that, it's not, you don't do a coach in waiting for 10 years, right? Like it should be short. And I think it's been
they did it for 10 years.
Right. So he sort of gets forced out, and but yeah, I think this probably going to make the most sense.
I love how we all memory hold Morgan Scally. The reason he stopped being the coach in waiting for a little while, when he was sending like racist text messages and stuff.
Yeah, apparently that went away. It didn't matter. I don't
know. Just time. Yeah.
But so there was that, which was cool. And then we got to talk about the Oregon home game against Kenny Chesney and the James Madison Dukes. We don't have the soundboard, so we don't have to do all that stuff. But yeah, this was I think Oregon needed this a little, because we talked about that last year. They sort of got screwed getting the bye and then getting a buzzsaw on the Rose Bowl at Ohio State. And took care of business, but did not cover. We both had Oregon minus 20.5, and they were covering, like, I think in the second quarter. And was it a 99-yard drive in the final seconds to do complete the backdoor cover?
I would say so. The game was like kind of it was interesting because Oregon obviously had a massive talent advantage. Like it was at least 2 or 3 just bombs where their receiver ran straight by the JMU guy. I think we've got one of them on the screen right now. That's JMU cornerback Justin Eaglin getting run by I think that was actually Noah Whittington. But regardless, it was, I mean, obvious talent disadvantage. Oregon's receivers going against JMU's DBs. At the same time, JMU was moving the ball on a couple of drives in the first half. They had 3 field goal drives essentially. The first one went 63 yards, and they got it within the Oregon at one point, the Oregon 11. Then kind of went backwards. That was really the story of much of the early part of this game, is that they would actually drive it pretty well, and then just shoot themselves in the foot significantly once they got in the red zone, and then either make or miss the field goal. They had 3 field goal attempt drives in the first half, missed one of them, and so they scored 6 points, while Oregon was just bombing JMU and scored 34. So the game was over at halftime. JMU kept playing. Oregon started to put in some backups, and clearly the intensity level dropped. Dan Lanning was very upset after the game and was talking about how they didn't play to their standard and all that kind of stuff, which is fair. They definitely did not hold JMU's feet to the fire. I mean, big takeaway for me watching JMU from a UCLA perspective, looking at guys who might fit. Their receiving core generally, I thought, showed out pretty well. Landon Ellis especially kind of drew my eye. He's kind of a bigger, more physical type receiver. Nick DeGennaro made a lot of plays. He actually threw a touchdown pass at one point. Or no, he threw a deep pass at one point for 50 yards. And Braden Wislowski, who's since entered the portal, he also looked pretty quick and shifty. Defensively is where it just, it's harder to gauge because like 1 or 2 guys break down and you've got a deep, touchdown pass to somebody. It's hard to gauge everyone else, but they looked overmatched defensively.
They did move the ball, which was, I think, concerning if you're Oregon. They moved it early before, but Oregon was able to, it was like you're giving up yards and not points, and had to go for it on 4th downs and whatever. But they, the Ducks held and they weren't able to get in there. And then, of course, scoring 28 points in the second half, when the game was over. And it really didn't look like the backdoor cover was possible, but it kept getting worse. I think it was 14-3 in the fourth quarter. In that last, I think it was a 99-yard drive, right? Like the JMU ended on. So, yeah, we didn't get the cover. Dave, you're 0-2 picking games in the bowl season. I'm 1-1. So I'm back to 500, and you are, I think, 4 games below. So, yeah, I got you at, where are you at? Let's see. You're 52-60. Ooh. I'm 56-56, so worse than I thought. But we got a lot of games to pick today.
We do.
And Oregon will be one of them. They get a little.
I'm not 52-60. You're reading the wrong thing. I'm 60-64. You're 62-62.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did I put it? Oh, yeah. That's up top. Never mind. 60-64. Perfect. And I'm 62-62. So you're looking for your first correct bowl pick.
Yeah, I'll be looking for a long time.
So we have 2. So we're recording this Friday morning, December 26th, the day after Christmas. And we got 2 games today. We were looking at it. I think in the chat, West Texas Mike said, "Aren't you guys the ones that forgot about the Washington game?" Yes, we forgot that Washington was playing. But we got you a podcast in before the Washington game. We're getting you a podcast in before the Northwestern game. So,
damn right.
What do you want from us?
That's exactly right. What do you want from us?
So Friday, December 26th, today, the day we're recording, and we're live on YouTube. We got 2 games. First one is the Sports Bowl.
Isn't that a stupid name?
It's kind of dumb. Isn't there? There's more to it though, right?
No,
There's
it's the sponsor. And if I'm not going to include the sponsor for like the Music City Bowl, why would I include the sponsor for the Sports Bowl? What a stupid name.
Game Above Sports Bowl.
Yeah, but Game Above is just a brand. I'm not going to call it the ReliaQuest whatever bowl, you know?
That's
I'm not going
true.
to call it, I don't know.
Well, the
It's
next
stupid.
game is just the Rate Bowl. So is that only the sponsor? Like, is it?
No, because that's just the name of it now, but there is a sponsor on top of that, I believe.
Okay.
Hey, man, I don't know. Things are getting stupid out here in the naming convention land.
They are getting dumb.
Anyway, the Sports Bowl, which is taking
Yes.
place in Detroit at Ford Field, taking place at 10 a.m. ESPN. The Central Michigan, I believe they're the Chippewas.
I think you're right.
You know, I don't think I can do that one because it'll sound like a racist caricature because we usually do like an arrow for Native American tribes. Versus the Northwestern Wildcats. Northwestern is a 10-point favorite over Central Michigan. Central Michigan, let's learn. Can we all learn a little bit about Central Michigan?
Go ahead.
Everyone want to learn with me? Let's learn. All right, this year, Central Michigan is 7-5. They have lost on the road in 4 games, and only 1 home game have they lost. That home game, though, was to Toledo, and they lost 21-3.
Yeah.
The 4 road games they've lost are at Pitt. They lost by 28. At Michigan, they lost by 60.
Yeah, that's the one that stands out to me.
At Akron, which is not good, by 6. At Western Michigan, deep rivalry there, by 3. And then they've beaten up on a lot of trash. Like you're talking Kent State, you're talking Buffalo, you're talking UMass, you're talking Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan, Wagner, and San Jose State. Northwestern is not Michigan, but they are a different ball of wax than 11. They're about the same as Pitt, right? We're going to call them Pitt level. Yeah, Northwestern's going to beat the hell out of them. Give me Northwestern.
I like Northwestern in this one too. Yeah, because I think they played Michigan fairly close, right? Did they play Michigan? I think they did.
Yeah, they played them super close.
Right. So, yeah, this is just one of the no, I mean, this isn't a good, the next game we're talking about is a good team from a group of 6 conference. This is not a good team from a group of 6 conference. Northwestern's not a good team, but they're from a Big 2 conference. So, yeah, I'm going to take Northwestern. 10's a lot. I saw it up to 10.5. That might switch it, but at 10, I'm going to take Northwestern too.
Absolutely.
We already mentioned the Rate Bowl. That's coming up a little bit later. Chase Field, right?
Chase Field, baby. So the Rate Bowl, I don't know what the stupid sponsorship is. I mean, it used to be the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, right?
Yeah. Maybe they dropped the sponsor.
Hang on. We got to figure this out. Let's not pussyfoot around it. Let's really dive right in.
Okay.
It's the Rate Bowl. Is it anything else but the Rate Bowl? Hang on. Rate Bowl. No, I think it's just literally just the Rate Bowl. That's just what it's called. There's nothing else here. The main sponsor is Domino's, Motel 6, Inside Enterprises, Kellanova, Black & Decker.
So it's just like a smorgasbord of sponsors and not like a title sponsor.
I don't know. That's nuts. It's in Phoenix, Chase Field, 1:30 p.m. on ESPN. The New Mexico Lobos. We've done this before. What's a Lobo? I think it's a type of wolf.
Yeah, there's a wolf.
Yes. Woo! Versus,
Lobo that up.
Yeah, you like that? Versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers. What's a gopher do? Anywho.
Yeah.
1:30 ESPN, New Mexico, 9-3, taking on Minnesota, 7-5. Minnesota's a 1.5-point favorite. Here's what New Mexico's done this year. They lost a competitive game at Michigan to start the year by 17. It was competitive. They kind of lost it a little bit late, but it was like a 10-point game. Then it became a 17-point game. They beat Idaho State. They beat UCLA and ended the Deshaun Foster era, something we will always thank Jason Eck for. They beat New Mexico State. They lost at San Jose State. They lost at Boise State. Both, again, pretty competitive games, but both losses. Then they finished the year on a 6-game winning streak, beating Nevada, Utah State, at UNLV, big win, Colorado State, at Air Force, and a pretty good San Diego State team. So New Mexico, very competent G5, easily
Yes.
top half of G5, possibly higher than that,
Higher than that.
possibly top quarter, possibly top fifth. Minnesota. Let's talk about Minnesota. Minnesota went 7-5 this year. Minnesota, we were having a conversation at the beginning of the year. Are they ass? Are they hot dog shit? Oh, sorry, Griffin. Or are they pretty good? Here's what they did this year. They beat Buffalo, Northwestern State. Who cares? They lost at Cal. They beat Rutgers by 3. They got annihilated by Ohio State. They beat Purdue. They beat Nebraska, which turned out to be kind of shitty. They lost 41-3 to Iowa. They beat Michigan State, which was terrible. They lost 42-13 to Oregon. They lost at Northwestern 38-35, and they beat Wisconsin, suddenly resurgent Wisconsin, but still kind of an assy Wisconsin team. Minnesota's not good. That's my takeaway. They could be average, but they're not good. New Mexico, I think they are more geared towards winning. I think they have the habit of winning now. I think Jason Eck is a good coach. I'm not going to pay attention to opt-outs. I'm going to assume they're even on both sides. If they're not, I don't care. That's new information that doesn't penetrate my skull. Give me the Lobos.
Yeah, we'll differ on this one. I'm going with Minnesota. I can't believe you're going this much detail into each one of these games. I thought we were going to do this fast, but you're going to go over the recap everybody's full schedule, every game. So I'm not going to do too much in this one.
Look, do you have things to do today? The day after Christmas? You want to hang out with your family?
I think we're going to got some family thing we're going to go do. But yeah, I'm going Minnesota. Minnesota, give me the Golden Gophers.
Love it.
And lay on the 1.5. Yeah, I
well,
think there's some distractions around
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We only have 9 more games to preview. We're good.
Yes. Thank you. So let's move on to tomorrow, Saturday, December 27th.
December 27th, it's the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium, 9 a.m. on ABC. The Penn State Nittany Lions. That's not a lion. I don't know. Versus the Clemson Tigers. Clemson is a 3-point favorite. You know, Penn State was kind of resurgent at the end of the year. I'm not going to go through each team's schedule. My only memory of Clemson is that they were kind of butt, and they probably shouldn't be favored in a football game. So give me Penn State.
Yeah, I'm going to take Penn State and getting the 3 points as well. It's you can, not that far to Yankee Stadium. I feel like Penn State, now that you got Matt Wells in there, just the attitude for the whole team was better in the latter half of the season. And now that you've made a good hire and all that's behind you, I feel like there's a lot of positivity there. And yeah, I'm gonna roll with Penn State.
Do you know Clemson's best win this year?
A
1-point victory over Louisville.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Everything else was butt.
Louisville got their bowl win. Did you check out the Cal?
Yes. Good job, Cal.
Cal, unbelievable. Getting Rolovich is like holy cow, like
yeah.
So weird. Okay. All right. Then we got a few days off after that. We're gonna move over to Tuesday, December 30th. We got a couple games starting with the Music City Bowl.
The Music City Bowl at Nissan Stadium, 2:30 p.m. ESPN, Tennessee, basically a home game for them, versus Illinois. Illinois is a 2.5-point dog. I don't think Illinois was very good this year. I don't think Tennessee was either. But I don't know. Tennessee's losses were all to really good teams. And Illinois were, Indiana.
Illinois played Indiana super close, though, if I remember.
Yeah, it was really close. I think they only lost by 53.
Oh, yeah, see?
They lost at Washington. They lost to Wisconsin. They kind of lost steam at the end of the year. I'll go Tennessee. I'll go Tennessee here.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to go Tennessee as well. This is going to super be a home game. Illinois just did not look like the same team later in the season. Not that they were good, but they were a certain level that was ranked and all that. But no, I think Tennessee is going to. This is going to be. There's going to be a lot of pride in this game for the Vols. So plus their quarterback came from UCLA, right?
True.
He's
UCLA product, Joey Aguilar.
He spent like a spring football there or something.
Yeah, he's springed in Westwood.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I didn't dive deep into the opt outs and stuff either. So, but yeah, I like Tennessee being basically at a home game. I'm in on this one. Okay. Then let's go to San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl.
The Alamo Bowl at the Alamo Dome, 6 p.m. on ESPN. Number 16 USC versus TCU. TCU is a 6.5-point dog, basically at home. We'll call it ish. They're Texas.
Don't
know anything about opt-outs. Don't care. I'm going to go with the home team here and take TCU plus 6.5.
Nice. I'll go USC on this one. The Trojans have actually been good in the bowl games the last couple of years, beating Louisville and then Texas A&M, despite having a lot of
they're games that don't matter, and so Lincoln Riley is all about those.
I'm picking the game, so I'm not saying like this is good or bad. I'm saying they've actually done well at this. There have been a lot of opt-outs for USC in both years. Caleb Williams, like you had your Heisman winner opt out, and Miller Moss came in and played pretty well. Last year you had a bunch of guys out. They're going to have Kamari Ramsey won't be playing. They don't have their top 3 pass catchers, Jacoby Lane, Mekhi Lemon, and Lake McCree. Not sure about Bishop Fitzgerald, who's an All-American safety, but TCU's quarterback option out and their top receiver. So USC's done a pretty good job at this, kind of, figuring things, away in there. Jay Maiava will play. He announced he's coming back. So just on the quarterback alone, I'll go USC over TCU in this one.
Hey, we had another bit of breaking news over the last week with your school.
Yes.
Breaking news. Lincoln Riley is the softest guy in the history of the world.
I don't think that was the news.
No, that's the news. The news is that Lincoln Riley is super soft. He's been whining for so long that now they have finally settled on a rationalization that fits to cancel the Notre Dame series.
Yeah.
He's been whining for so long. When did he first bring this up? This whine was it?
It was 2024 Big Ten Media Day. When he brought when that was the question was asked. And I think,
but he's been whining about it off the books for what? Since he started?
Since then he hasn't said anything about it as far as like, hey, we want to play. But that was damaging what he said the first time. But being privy to some of the negotiations that were going on, this essentially came down to.
We're gonna listen to the party line right now.
You can party whatever. No, I always wanted the game to continue. I think it should still continue. USC took the stance that they will play, but they wanted to move the game to September. Notre Dame did not want to move the game. So this is sort of like, David, you have 2 children, right? If one of your children were kidnapped and they said, all right, you want your kid back, you have to pay me $1 million. You can get your kid back. You just have to pay $1 million. If you don't pay the $1 million, then that $1 million was more important to you than getting your kid back. Notre Dame, USC didn't cancel the series. It could have gone on if they played in September. Notre Dame said no to that. USC, it could have gone on if USC really wanted to play the series, but they didn't want to play it in November.
Which one of these schools, now blind test, which one of these schools wanted to change something about the series?
USC wanted to change something about the series, just when it was played, not the fact that it would go away.
Right. They wanted to change the basic.
If the series was really important to Notre Dame, it would have continued in September. If it was really important to USC, it would have continued when it is. So this I'm not saying to say one school canceled is not accurate. There were
one school was making a material change that they knew the other school was not in favor of. Correct? Is that correct?
I don't know
Is
if
that
you know
correct?
that. Well, now you know that they're not in favor of. Yeah, but
Right.
does it make sense for USC to
like,
play a ranked
here
team
we go.
in the
Here we go. Here
middle
we go.
or late in the
Here we go.
season?
Here we
I
go.
I
If
understand.
it
The
makes
whole
sense for
sport
them,
has
you know who
changed.
else? You know who else it might make sense for? Notre Dame. Notre Dame, but Notre Dame seemed fine with it. They could
Yeah,
take a late
because
season loss.
so Notre Dame is clinging to independence, which is a choice, and I think it's one of those things that is it going to be able to continue? Texas has a series with Notre Dame starting, I think, 28, and Steve Sarkisian has already talked about potentially canceling that series.
Got
It's
it.
not making a lot of sense for Power 2 schools to play bigger games like that, especially later in the season. USC
So
would like to continue doing it, but they want to do it early in the season.
Is there a college football tradition that USC is going to try not to kill in the next like 5 to 10 years? Or are they just going to assassinate it all? Like just trying to gauge
UCLA
like
killed the Pac-12. It wasn't USC, it was UCLA. Come
uh-huh.
on.
Yeah.
The
Definitely
Pac-12 killed the
UCLA driving
Pac-12.
that one. The
Yeah.
Pac-12 killed the Pac-12. USC rubbed the dirt on it. You know, I'll say the reality, which is that Lincoln Riley is super soft. He didn't want to do
Wasn't
this.
even a Lincoln Riley call, David. Like, this is an athletic department call.
Right. Well, whatever it was, it's a bunch of I'll say this very seriously. It's a bunch of interlopers who have no vested interest in this rivalry whatsoever. It's a bunch of people who are once again making decisions for the sport that won't be here. Lincoln Riley, Jen Cohen are not going to be at USC in 10 years. They just won't. We know this.
Yeah.
They're not going to be there. And they're making decisions about stuff that's not going to impact them. It doesn't impact all the alumni of both of these schools who grew up watching these games, who care about the rivalry. And I get that the talking points have convinced a lot of USC fans that this is the right move. It isn't. It's stupid. It's stupid the same way the Big Ten move was stupid because it's going to ruin your enjoyment. All it's doing is improving USC's competitive position by, I don't know, 2%, 3%. If they're not good enough to beat Notre Dame in a particular year, guess what? Probably not good enough to do much in the playoff anyway.
No, and whenever USC's been good, whenever they won the Heisman, it like includes a win over Notre Dame. It's like super helpful. But we've seen, Texas.
It's not that it's helpful. It's that if you're good enough to make a big run, you're good enough to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a consistent in the modern era because there was a long time and where they were totally comfortable playing Notre Dame because Notre Dame wasn't very good a lot. But in the modern era, the last like 15, 20 years, Notre Dame is a consistent top 15. Yeah. Consistent. Like they're pretty top 15-ish. But if you are a national title contending USC team or a real playoff contender USC team, you should have no fear of that game. None.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But it is just another, like you're piling it onto like the Ohio States and Penn States and Michigans and all that stuff where you didn't have to do that before. And like Notre Dame dropped the Michigan game and no one seemed to.
How many years are they even playing Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State in the same season? Like next year is tough.
Yeah.
But like there's going to be a lot of cycles where they are stuck with Wisconsin, Iowa, a down Indiana eventually, and like three other schools that are not contending.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Like there are going to be years where they do not have a marquee game at all because of this move, because they're playing a bunch of dog shit Big Ten.
I don't know about
that. Good Big Ten.
I would rather obviously I'd rather have the game. At first I was like, don't move it or whatever, but I've come around to like, okay, I get it. Like I don't think it's unreasonable to say, because we're in the Big Ten now, which is totally your choice. You took it was your choice that it's USC to take the money and play in the Big Ten. Me flying, across time zones 4 different times in 2 months was a pain in the ass for me. I get it if you'd rather just play that game early on. For Notre Dame, they can get games early on. They can't get them later. And I think they're in a tough spot. But if they really wanted the game, they could have got it.
So for being like real USC fan out there, if they had told you when the Big Ten move was happening that a material cost of this move is that you're not going to play Notre Dame anymore because because we have to fit in a road game at Rutgers every 5 years, you're not going to play Notre Dame anymore. Would you have accepted that move? Would you have said that's a good idea? And maybe you would have.
I don't know.
Maybe
Like that's a good,
maybe
but
everyone is
losing
convinced.
Cal and Stanford and
Maybe
losing, like if you lose Notre Dame, that would be
maybe
bad.
everyone in the world is absolutely convinced that the money is a thing that actually matters to you, the fan. But I'm here to tell you it isn't, and it doesn't. It's not going to, because what's going to happen instead is inflation of coaching salaries, inflation of player salaries, which is all to the good. But you're not seeing any of this money. I mean, it doesn't come to you, the fan.
College fans rooting for money is weird. Yeah.
It's so weird. You should be rooting for enjoyable games that you get to watch every year and the chance that your team can make a deep run. And those things shouldn't be discordant. You should be able to play big games and potentially win them and then, make a big run. But like, I don't know, this trying to game the system where there's never been a USC team that has been incapable of just taking care of business against Notre Dame and then actually good enough to, do anything in the postseason. It's just, it's silly. It's a silly bit of logic. It's and it's a bunch of people who have no vested interest in this rivalry who are making the decision about it. You fans should be the ones who are voicing your opinions about it. I understand that in a lot of ways you're hearing the talking points and you want to support your school, and I get that, but it's dumb, guys. You like watching Notre Dame play USC. It gets you excited. You should want to continue to do that. You should want to continue to do it at the traditional time every year. And yeah, you know what? As a UCLA person, it's annoying. You want to know why? Because it means we have to play Cal or Stanford at the end of the year every year. But like, you should want this. Like, you should continue to want that. And anyway, it's dumb.
Yeah, they might be able to pick up Stanford or Cal. It'll be interesting to see because that's
hey, USC fans, so exciting. You get to play Cal instead of Notre Dame every year, and you get to play Cal on like the first game of the year.
It sucks that those games go away. Like people wanted those games; they're gone. Like if you like them or not, like the Weekender was a big deal. That tradition's gone. The Texas A&M Texas tradition that went away. Like Bedlam. Like there's a lot of long traditions went away.
Who's responsible for those going away? I can't.
It's because of this, these mega conferences. Like this is a casualty of that sometimes, and that's what's happening here. There's chances to get back at it, but for right now, it's paused.
So USC has been doing this. Is my point, everyone.
Texas and Oklahoma were the biggest blow, not USC.
Right. Cal Stanford not being on USC's schedule anymore is the work of.
It started with Texas, Oklahoma. So, all right, we'll move on. We got more bowl games to cover.
Let's go.
Let's go to December 31st, New Year's Eve. We got a lot of games that day. Starting at Raymond James Stadium at 9 in the morning.
What's that, Tampa Bay? The ReliaQuest Bowl, 9 a.m. on ESPN. Number 23, Iowa. Ranked on ranked versus number 14, Vanderbilt. So that is the Hawkeyes. Versus Vanderbilt, the Commodores. I'm running a ship. I don't know. Iowa, they kind of limped to the finish. They were looking pretty good midseason. Vandy's a great program, stellar program, top tier program, best program in the country as far as I'm concerned. Give me Vandy, baby.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt as well. There's a little bit of chip on the shoulder about Diego Pavia. They also sent me like a whole box of stuff from Diego Pavia for like his Heisman campaign. Then he trashed all the voters afterwards, but I think he's going to want to come out there and win this one. So yeah, give me Vanderbilt. It's in the South. Iowa's going to be, cold as hell, and then they're going to go down there and it's going to be all warm and stuff. So
did I say the line? Vandy by 5.5.
5.5.
We'll take Vandy to cover 5.5.
Let's take Vandy, and we will get that cover. Okay. But I think Diego Pavia is really good. Let's go to Citrus Bowl.
Citrus Bowl in Camping World Stadium, 12 p.m. on ABC. Number 18, Michigan versus number 13, Texas. Michigan, they're doing well. Pretty stable program. Nothing really to worry about there.
Yeah.
There were some rumors about Sark and did you hear this weird buzz that he was maybe gonna resign or something a couple weeks ago?
I didn't hear that. No.
Weird stuff. That appears to not be the case. But if you're weighing these two situations, Michigan obviously the far weirder one. Sometimes teams can rally around that. Sometimes teams can say, I'm getting the hell out of here. And in the modern era, it's much more the latter than the former. Because these guys, I mean, I don't know what Michigan's opt-out situation is. I imagine it's more than you'd think. So they've got Biff Poggi in charge. Is that his name? Biff Poggi? Poggi?
Yeah.
He's an interesting fella.
He's like some rich guy that like coached high school and then came, whatever. Like he was like a finance guy or something. I don't know.
I don't think Texas is very good. They're 9-3. We saw them struggle a lot with Arch Manning for much of the season. Did Arch get better?
He got better at the end. His last game was better. I mean, they beat Texas A&M. They beat a playoff team.
Sure.
At the end. So it depends.
All right. I'll take Texas, I guess.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas. If you want to go against me and take Michigan, you can. But
no, I don't. I can't take a team that like lost their coach because he was, doing some stuff with his penis.
Didn't take our advice.
Yes.
There's been more stories too. Like the Detroit Free Press came out with one. Our buddy Bruce Feldman wrote another one that talking like I think 4 or 5 different women that he was DMing with, not even including the OnlyFans one that like I think the New York Post and like Outkicked were reporting on. Like this guy Sherrod Moore was a busy dude.
He had a lot going on.
There was a lot going on. The Detroit Free Press story was more about the internal workings, like Wake Martindale, the defensive coordinator, and Sherrod Moore weren't getting along. And he would cry at meetings. Like there was a lot of weird stuff going on. The fact that this team won 9 games and reading about the dysfunction, especially what the Detroit Free Press wrote about, this is a mess. So yeah, I don't think Texas can be a mess. I don't think they're this big of a mess. So I will take I'll take Texas in this one too and lay the 7.5.
Yeah.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Vegas.
The Vegas Bowl in Allegiant Stadium, 12:30 p.m. ESPN. Nebraska taking on number 15 Utah. Utah's a 15.5-point favorite here.
Yeah.
So Utah's got a new head coach. Is it Morgan Scalley? Did they announce that already?
I thought they did.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Who cares? Nebraska, they're down a quarterback. They sucked at the end of the year, real bad.
Pretty bad.
TJ Lateef, not very good. He did beat UCLA though. I'm gonna take Utah. I think they start the Scally era with a vengeance. I think they cover the 15.5. I think they win this one by like 4 touchdowns.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on there in Utah, especially if Witt goes to Michigan. The 15.5 is a lot. So I'm gonna just give me Nebraska to keep it somewhat close and lose by like 14 or something.
Do you know what they did their last 2 games?
What they do?
They lost at Penn State by 27, and they lost versus Iowa at home by 24.
True.
Is Utah better than those teams?
I think so.
Yeah.
But they got some turmoil going on.
Is it turmoil?
Matt Rule's got extension. Now Dylan Royale did go into the portal.
True.
And those fans are going to go to Vegas in droves.
True. So are Utah fans. Are you familiar with the Utah fan base?
They like showing up in Vegas, but this is not going to be. It's not to play like Oregon or something. This is like to play Nebraska.
Vegas was in many ways founded by Mormons. All right, just saying. The Utah folk have done.
Were they like gangster Mormons or what was the?
I think so. I don't know. You have to. Yeah.
All right, I'd have
to go deeper into the history. Yeah.
Give me the Utes.
There you go.
I'll go with you.
Just 2 Utes.
The 2 Utes. Wait, I wish we had the.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When we do the recaps, we can use the Utah.
There we go. And they're the Cornhuskers.
I'm peeling corn. Shane's wife. Thank you.
Yes.
We don't know her name, but thank you, Shane's wife.
I think we did at one time, but now we don't.
There was a lot of things I used to know, like as of this morning, and I don't know them anymore. All right.
somebody.
So
that
those
used
are
to-
all the traditional bowl games, the deep roots in the Big Ten, like the Rate Bowl that doesn't have a sponsor and stuff. Let's get to these quarterfinal games, David. This is where the rubber hits the road.
Is that what it is? CFP quarterfinal in the Cotton Bowl, AT&T Stadium. 4:30 p.m. This is again on December 31st. ESPN number 10 Miami versus number 2 Ohio State. Ohio State is a 9.5 point favorite. Miami, not very familiar to us Big Ten folk. I don't think they played a single Big Ten team this year. They lost. Their 2 losses were Louisville at home and
Yeah.
at SMU. Otherwise, they more or less took care of business. Again, except for Notre Dame at the very beginning of the season, they won by 3. They didn't really play anybody. Bunch of ACC dog shit. Ohio State, I'm pretty familiar with them. They are built like a buzzsaw. They did lose to Indiana. But otherwise, Ohio State's generally been very, very impressive in games. And look, I'm not a big Ryan Day guy. However, I am far too familiar with the stylings of Mario Cristobal as a head coach to pick Miami in a competitive spot. So give me Ohio State.
All right. I think Mario Cristobal turned the corner a little bit.
Oh, no. He never has. He never has, and he never will.
He made the right call, scoring that touchdown late in a game that was 3-3, and instead of stopping at the 1, like I get it. Some people were like, "Hey, you need to go out the 1," and like you couldn't even make field goals. It was crazy wind and everything in that game. But this is a team that's like built from the lines out, which a lot of Cristobal teams are. I think Ohio State wins the game, but 9.5 is a lot. So there's certainly scenarios I could see Ohio State just buzzsawing this team. They're going to have the 2 best players on either side of the ball. But I kind of like Miami to keep it a little bit closer. I don't see Miami winning this game. But I do like I like them to keep it close enough that the 9.5. So give me Miami plus the 9.5. But I like Ohio State to advance.
Beautiful.
I think Ohio State can win this one, but I'm win the whole thing. But we'll see. But my gut is it's like, they played a
You're really going out on a limb there. You think Ohio State can win the national title? Wow.
13-10 against Indiana, like in Indianapolis. Like, I don't know. I could just see this being rock fighty. And rock fighty is not winning by 14, maybe 10, but yeah, give me the 9.5.
All right, beautiful.
Let's move to next year, 2026.
2026, another CFP quarterfinal at the Orange Bowl in Hard Rock Stadium at 9 a.m. on January 1st, ESPN. Number 5, Oregon taking on number 4, Texas Tech. Oregon is a 2.5 point favorite over the Red Raiders. Texas Tech's pretty good. If you're unfamiliar with what Texas Tech did, they spent a lot of money in the transfer portal.
Lots
and lots. And they went and were a buzzsaw this year. Yes, it was a Big 12 schedule. So it lacked, I would say, super top end, but that made Texas Tech by default the super top end. And the thing is, okay, they haven't been tested the way Oregon has. They didn't have to play Indiana. But their only loss is to Kenny Dillingham, and there's absolutely no shame in that because Kenny Dillingham is a wizard. They beat the absolute hell out of Utah. I think that was early on, though, when Utah was still figuring its stuff out. And they beat the crap out of BYU twice. Held them to 7 points twice. There's a lot of impressive results if you look at their schedule. Like they've had a gnarly defense most of the year. Oregon, their offense at times against really good defenses has sputtered. They're really predicated on like kind of short passing and like dinking and dunking. And against really good teams, they've been able to take that away more often than they should, given the talent level that Oregon has. What I was encouraged by was their willingness to go deep and kind of, break it open against JMU. Are they going to show that same willingness against a team that's much more talented in Texas Tech? I don't know. Dan Lanning, though, is a very, very good coach. I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to go Oregon. I don't feel great about it. I think Texas Tech is really good, but I'll go Oregon. I think they will have an advantage on the sideline, and we'll see if they're able to take advantage of anything in this defense for Texas Tech, which is very good.
Yeah, this is a tale of two. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the best matchups. Two very different styles. Like Texas Tech, obviously going all in on the portal, having a billionaire just write checks and building a program that way. Where Oregon, more grassroots. Everyone's come, oh wait, no. So this is like someone copying, or this is like a mimeograph of Oregon.
This is oil money versus apparel money.
Yes, but here's the thing. The average scoring margin for Texas Tech is 29.2 points per game, like by far the number one team in the country. They only allow 11 and 0.3 points per game. I think Oregon can win this one for sure. And we've seen teams sort of like get that. Texas Tech was waiting on the sidelines, and that's what Oregon had to do last year. But I'm going to take Texas Tech in this one. Maybe Oregon wins by 2 or whatever, and Texas Tech still is able to cover this one. But they are pretty darn stout of a football team, and I think Oregon is really good too. That's why, to me, it's like one of the best matchups. I think it can be really close, but I'm gonna take the 2.5 points here and take Texas Tech.
Fair enough.
But I think it's going to go either way. Then we got to round it up with the granddaddy of them all. Oh, by the way, this is also a 9 a.m. game. So This is, as far as body clock goes, Oregon's got to go from, if you're looking at a map and you're not familiar with geography, they're going from way up here to way down there and playing at 9 in the morning. Now they'll be there a week early or whatever. And I'm sure they're there now, but so there's another reason. But anyway, let's go to the granddaddy of them all.
Another CFP quarterfinal in the Rose Bowl, 1 p.m. on ESPN. Number 9, Alabama, Crimson Tide. I don't know. Versus number 1, Indiana, the Hoosiers. Hi, I'm from Indiana. Indiana's a 6.5 point favorite. Number 1, Indiana. My gut tells me Alabama is going to cover and win, but I cannot pick against the Killer Signetti, so give me Indiana. But I got a feeling Alabama's going to be Alabama in this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm going. Oh, I left the comment up the whole time on the screen. Sorry. I'm going with Indiana as well. And I don't have the soundboard, but he knows the score. He gets the women. Signetti kills.
That's good.
So I'm going with that. I'm going to go with Signetti killing. It's really hard to pick against Indiana right now. So I think I've picked against too many Big Ten teams anyway, but I'm going to do this one. Kyle says oil money versus sweatshops. Okay. And then Oregon wrote checks before it was cool. That is true. That before it was like trendy, Oregon was writing checks. But yeah, so that's all the games. That was like 28 bowl games we got to pick, which was wonderful.
We enjoyed it, every last minute of it.
So,
all right, are we ready to do some questions? Are we doing a little break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back answering questions. Back in a minute, everyone. Cool.
That was too short.
That's all right. No, it's you always do it too long. Like you make it
I
too
forgot.
long.
I missed my cue. I was like, why isn't this stuff playing? And I'm like, oh, I'm responsible for that. I need to make the noises.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to keep adjusting this? I'm gonna do like that?
Yeah. No? Would you stop? Like I try to fix it and you just mess around.
That? Like that?
That's better. At least you made it work better.
Hey, who knows? All right. We got some questions. I think we're starting with this text message. Thanks so much.
Sure.
From Monday. Thanks so very much for keeping us up to date on what is happening at USC. Okay.
Is that a question?
I don't know what that was.
By the way, I forgot to So I had a guy from Bro, message me on a DM over 24/7 Sports, Gangster Medic, and he was just like asked for like a shout out, and I wasn't sure what the context was, and I didn't realize he was a bro. I thought he was a Peristyle guy, but it's a bro. But so I asked him, he's like, I guess just something about me posting it for you with the awesome reference on the show. I know bros get mentioned by their handle and it becomes a badge of honor. So Gangster Medic,
Big ups to Gangster Medic. Big ups.
yeah,
to Gangster
I know
Medic.
he was dealing with a medical issue, so hopefully you're feeling better. But he just really wanted a shout out, and I guess bros love it when they get shout outs on the show.
Oh yeah.
And maybe it's
Who
better if
doesn't
he
love
gets a
it?
shout out from me and not you, because he messaged me and not you. I really assumed he was a USC guy, but he was a UCLA guy.
Damn.
But anyway, Gangster Medic.
I'm just not accessible, apparently.
You were certainly not.
I'm inaccessible. All right. I'll read this.
Text you. Hey, we're supposed to go live soon. Oh yeah, maybe I'll respond. Okay.
Hey, I woke up 15 minutes before we're live. That's why I'm yawning so much.
Yeah.
All right. This is Kevin, USC Notre Dame. Why such a big difference between former players like Petros and Keyshawn being upset the rivalry game is pausing versus the sentiment of the fans on the Peristyle seemingly being happy about the circumstances around the game ending?
Yeah, I think so. It is like former players now. Like Matt Liner came out and he was okay with it, and I've talked to some different players and it's sort of mixed. But
I wonder why Matt Leinart was okay with it. Does he have some sort of interest in like a television network or anything? Like, is there something about, I don't know, maybe his relationship vis-a-vis the Big Ten that would make him think that this is something to carry water for? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a point though. Like there's conspiracy theories about the Big Ten wants Notre Dame to join, so they want USC to put pressure on Notre Dame and make their schedule, things like that.
Very interesting. I mean, I couldn't, obviously that couldn't possibly be influencing anyone's individual opinion because everyone is an independent actor and an independent.
It could be. But former players are ones that are like definitely, but to be honest, and usually the older fans, we have some older fans that are like, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Now, Petros has just been a hater of the program for a while. It's just, I know Petros well, I love him, but he's always been like super critical, and there seems some personal things going on there. Keyshawn was different, and his was kind of a weird rant too. But I think, but there are actually a lot of the younger fans that aren't tied to the tradition are totally fine with it, like what's best for the program right now. But there are older fans too that are sort of coming around to it. And I think some of it, David, is you mentioned like what Lincoln Riley said. Notre Dame was winning the PR of this from the very beginning, that if this series ended, it was USC dropping out because they didn't want to play Notre Dame anymore. But the way that sort of when Notre Dame got dropped from the playoff and didn't go in a bowl game, which sort of screwed a lot of the bowl games because it's a domino effect, and just the way that they went after the ACC, there was some kind of complaining with the Big 12. They seemed to sort of like take this high road, and to me, it seemed like there's a lot of people who are kind of tired of the Notre Dame. Like, hey, look, we get it, you want to be independent and all that, but now that they're going to get special privileges in the new college football playoff agreement, there's a lot of people that are sort of like soured on the whole Notre Dame thing. So it'll be interesting to see. But there are younger fans for sure, but then some older fans too that have kind of come around to it. But I think the older school, like former players, they're the ones that have been the hardest to just stay with, hey, just keep Notre Dame the way it is and don't change anything.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But
it doesn't, but I get it. Yeah.
This is Ryan and Carlsbad. Mayava versus Imialiava. Wait.
Wow. Iamaliava.
Yeah, okay, I said it right that second time. I haven't said it for a while. Hello, boys. Inspired by Jake's email last week, I likewise wanted to send a note of thanks for all the content over the years and wish you a happy holiday season. While I, too, very much miss the Pac-12 days of this show, I still look forward to your banter and takes and often listen to the show twice if I'm otherwise low on content. Shout out to you guys for continuing the show as we're now faced with the long, slow slog that is life in the new Big Ten. To that end, I still laugh at the fact that you guys had had a mental breakdown over the summer about not wanting to cover the Big Ten as the same way you historically have, and then went right back to covering 18 games a week once the season kicked off. Clearly, the show survives in its current form only due to the in-depth thought and preparation that goes into it on a weekly basis. On to a question. Dave, what is your honest assessment of Jaden Mayava? Would you take him over Nico Iamaleava? Not to lead the witness, but it seems average/above average at best, with tough tendencies that tend to come out in the most pressure situations, like throwing off his back foot and forcing balls into tight spots. You'll probably win more than you'll lose with him, plus Riley's offense, plus talented skill players. But I'm not sure he's got a Big Ten title written all over him. Keep it mediocre / Pac-12 forever. Ryan in Carlsbad.
Yeah, I mean, comparing the two, if that's what we're doing here, Nico has more natural talent and ability. I think what Mayava has is he has the prerequisites to be a Lincoln Riley quality quarterback, something Miller Moss didn't have, and it's insane that he went with Miller Moss still, in that he can make a play out of a broken play. Lincoln Riley's offense is very good, and but it's kind of simple. And you need to be able to kind of freelance and do some things with your legs. And Jaden Mayava has that ability. If you plug Nico in there, you'd have that ability plus some. Like the idea of Nico playing in that offense is scary to me, because that one I think would be gangbusters, and I think it'd be a great fit for him. I think Jaden Mayava is a quality quarterback. I don't think he's bad, and I think he got a lot better this year. He was obviously a lot better than he was last year. He made fewer mistakes. I think they were more concentrated. There were games where they were more concentrated, but he wasn't making them consistently anymore.
Yeah.
So a little bit boom or bust, but I think Nico has been too. I think Nico's not benefited. He didn't benefit at all from the offensive turmoil at UCLA this year. He did well with Tennessee's wide splits. He's not super accurate downfield. I don't think that's a great strength of Mayava's, but he's probably a little bit more accurate downfield.
He's done a good job
But
getting the ball to some of those guys this year.
Yeah. I think though Nico in a similar system, very QB friendly, very dual threat friendly system like Lincoln Riley's would be gangbusters. So I would definitely take Nico. But I think Mayava in that system can be totally fine. Like I think he is totally fine. I think they can win a lot of games with Mayava. I think the bigger issues for USC this year were mostly on the defensive side.
Yeah. At times, I mean, Mayava was like the number one like QBR quarterback in the country. Like I think he did get a lot better, and there were some tough mistakes, but far fewer than what he did before. I would like to see him run a little bit more. There were games where he just didn't run at all, and that was kind of weird. That might be a coaching thing, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right, this is Oxnard Steve. Well, the crying Irish keep digging their own hole deeper and deeper, and they are not getting any closer to the pot of gold. After taking their ball and going home because they were not included in the 2025 college football playoff, now they unilaterally decide to end their annual matchup. All right, so Oxnard Steve has gotten a heavy dose of the propaganda. Now they unilaterally decide to end their annual matchup with Big Ten Conference stalwart USC because the Golden Domers were too scared to play in Los Angeles on the last Saturday in August. Then it leaks out that the whining Irish have been given a sweetheart deal by the college football playoff powers that be to be included automatically in 2026 if they beat enough hand-picked cupcakes instead of joining a conference. Hang on, Oxnard Steve, because just because that was the way this was reported doesn't mean that was the way this came out. Everyone knew Notre Dame was going to be getting a sweetheart deal. Everybody knew. It's been a part of college football forever for Notre Dame to get sweetheart deals. Going back to the BCS, they were getting a sweetheart deal. They got a sweetheart deal in the original CFP contract. They're getting a sweetheart deal now. Everyone knew this was coming. This is not a surprise. It's not something that was sprung on USC at the last minute. And oh my God, it's so unfair. No, everyone knew. Everyone knew.
To be fair, it was a surprise to most people. Now, it was reported by Ross Dellinger a year ago. Are you like... The facts are, it was reported. Ross Dellinger reported this. It was a memorandum of understanding or whatever it was. It changed the college football playoff rules to include, instead of the top 5 conference champions, the Power 4 plus 1, and if Notre Dame's in the top 12, they get automatically in. Ross reported this a year ago. I don't think anybody realized it. He really basically retweeted himself, and not just USC, like people. It wasn't USC people in front. People kind of went bananas because no one realized that this year, if the rules for 2026 were in play this year, two different teams would be in the playoffs. Notre Dame would be in over Miami, and
Notre Dame has
JMU would be out.
always had this deal. They had this for
Not
the
this
BCS.
year, though. They didn't have it this year. If they had it this year,
then this is the one time in history where they haven't had a sweetheart deal. So why is this news? Why is this at all a surprise to anyone?
Because it would have screwed Miami this
why
year.
Would it okay, great. Who gives a shit?
No.
Why would it have materially changed anything about USC's decision making? Because that's the way this was breathlessly reported. Was that this was, oh my God, it was a rug pull from Notre Dame. What? It's been a rug pull for 40 years then, because they've always gotten a sweetheart deal. What are you talking about?
Yeah. This year, it's funny that they didn't have it. What do you? So I talked to Connor Morissette about this. So the scenario is Miami and Notre Dame both have 2 losses. Miami was behind them in all the rankings until the last rankings because they had the head-to-head. Do you think that if the rules was in play, that even if Miami was ahead of Notre Dame, but Notre Dame was in the top 12, Notre Dame has to get in, which would bump Miami? Do you think the committee would have put Notre Dame 13 just so they wouldn't have bumped, but could they have manipulated it that way?
Obviously, or whichever way they want the thing to go. Of course they would.
Okay. Yeah, that would be
interesting.
It's
people. It's not a formula. So this is the problem with continuously expanding the playoff, is you end up with undeserving teams whining. And I don't want to hear about undeserving teams whining. Notre Dame and Miami, neither of them are good enough to win a national title this year. Neither of them should be playing in a playoff. If we're going to have this stupid playoff that includes 12 or 16 teams or whatever, nobody can whine about, oh, I was 11th and I didn't get in because I wasn't the G5 winner and I'm not Notre Dame. Who gives a shit? You're not very good. You're a 2-loss team that lost to like Louisville or something. Who cares?
What about for the NCAA tournament? Like, some team is like 7-12 in conference play, and they're like, we should be in. Yeah. And you're like, what?
I don't give a shit. Fucking win some more games, buddy.
But in basketball, you can make a run. Like that 7-12 conference team can make a run.
Like, well, like football, and all the whining about JMU and Tulane getting in. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry, ACC. Don't be weird. Why are you being so weird over there? Don't do that.
No, the ACC shit on themselves. That's why we're in this. But it's also, funny. If the rules for next year were this year, Miami would be out, Notre Dame in, and JMU would be out, and Duke would be in. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because everyone wants to watch Duke in the college football playoff. Like, I saw so many arguments for people who were like arguing that this is such a travesty that JMU went and lost by 17 to Oregon and that Tulane got blown out by Ole Miss. And it's like, dude, how many of these first round games are ever good? How many of them are expected to be good? They're not going to be good. You've got a 5 who's like, Oregon is a legit elite national title contender. They're the 5 because they didn't win the Big Ten. Like, that's it. And they're going to smoke whoever they're matched up with in that 12 matchup. It could have been Duke. You know what they would have done to Duke? Would have been abusive. Would have been absolutely insane what would have happened to Duke. So I don't know what the argument is. I think it's people who are SEC honks who just want more SEC teams in the playoff. And it's just like, do you understand that, like, whatever you put in this placeholder, all it matters for is whether people feel like they have a chance. And so, look, we've made it so that the playoff is the only thing that matters in this sport. That's a double-edged sword, because if you treat it like it's the only thing that matters, then you have to give access to everyone. Otherwise, you get sued to oblivion, or you have to create a new structure that's not the NCAA, because G5 needs to have access. Okay. Now, if you kept it at 4 or you kept the BCS, you wouldn't ever need to create those things, but you've made it 12. This is what you have to deal with because you made it 12. Stop whining. Like, people it doesn't matter that JMU was not going to beat Oregon. They weren't ever going to beat Oregon. Tulane was never going to beat Ole Miss. It doesn't matter. Duke's never going to beat Oregon. They're not. They're just not.
Yeah.
So it's just, these were going to be crappy games. If you want to rethink the entire system where we end up with crappy games in the opening round, meaning there shouldn't be these games taking place, it should be at most 4 teams, then we can have that conversation. But if we're going to have a 12-team playoff, there's going to be shitty games.
Yeah. All right. Is that the end of the...
No, we've got, hang on, sorry. All right, anyway, he had one more paragraph. True Irishmen and women would never be that classless. The leprechauns from Wuss Puss and Wimp, Indiana are showing their true color, yellow belly yellow. There is a far more respected program down the road in Bloomington, Indiana, where, well, you know the score. All right, then you've got to read one from Frank in Sacramento.
Okay. Frank said, let's go. Oh, you may be getting fewer voicemails. And so, yes, have you seen this? So there's like a novice sleuth that says he's cracked the Zodiac code for like the Black Dahlia killings and stuff. So I haven't read the story yet, but that's out there.
Cool.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Well, maybe that's why we haven't heard from our friend.
That would be sad.
He seems younger than someone that could have murdered in the 60s, but, I don't know.
Maybe he's got one of those voice changers.
Oh, that's a very good point. I could see that.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, what do we got?
We're all done.
I think that's it.
I think we nailed it. I think we crushed it.
How was Christmas in the Woods household?
It was tremendous. My kids got a bunch of stuff that they're excited about. Yeah. It was great.
It's good.
Played a bunch of games.
Played a bunch of games.
I'm a big board game guy. You like board games?
I do. We played Digital Monopoly last night. Have you done that one? So it's like you have like a credit card kind of thing. And so everything goes through like a little computer and you just like, so my niece was like, oh, you want to buy Park Place? Bing, bing. And it tells you how much money you have left and stuff. And it's changed. The board's different. It's different rules. But yeah, you don't mortgage properties, like you basically sell them. So like if, and they don't have like hotels. It's like if you land on a property, it bumps up the rent and the rent can go up and down.
I hate everything you're saying to me so much right now.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
You got to be dealing with the crappy ones and the $5. Like, there's got to be free parking where you like have like house rules where you get like a big bundle from the middle of the table. What is all this?
Yeah, it was definitely different, but it goes faster. And once somebody's bankrupt, then it just ends, and whoever has the most money wins.
Yeah, we played a card game called what's it called? Moose Master. You ever played this?
No.
Oh,
I like
dude,
card games.
It's stupid fun. It's like you have to create rules for everyone as you're going, and it's like it could easily become a drinking game and an adult game. But playing it with kids was a ton of fun. I got a history trivia game for Christmas that I forced my children to play with me.
Were they like?
They surprisingly did well with the geography. Surprisingly well.
Oh.
But like stuff that happened in like 1980, they weren't so good. My daughter, she's on the autism spectrum, but her memory for dates is incredible. One of the questions was, what was the first day that Earth Day was celebrated? Like literally what year? And she's like, April 22nd, 1970, of course. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I wouldn't have nailed that year within 20. Like not a chance in hell.
Yeah, I thought it was like 90s or something.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like when it got all super environmental, like after the ozone layer stuff and all that kind of stuff. No, 1970, baby.
It's moved to, it used to be like the 21st or something, and then I don't know, like
she was out here knowing the author of Silent Spring, which is something like she must have been really paying attention that day in like environmental science or something, because she
reads something it like locks into her brain.
Dude, she can tell you what day of the week a date was like 6 years ago. Like your birth, like I do this with people like as a party trick. It's I don't know, I'm a messed up person, but I'm like, hey, all right, I'll tell her their birthday, and I'll be like, what day of the week was their birthday 3 years ago? And she'll be like, Wednesday. Super cool.
That's awesome. I started reading a new book It's from a few years ago, but I forget what it's called. Something in the Ville. It's basically Winston Churchill in like 40 and 41. It's sort of an account of what it was like in London while for a year during the bombings and stuff.
During the
So,
Blitz.
as they're just like you're just getting bombed and all that kind of stuff, and he's trying to get the United States involved and everything, but it's really just an account of what it was like leading up to it. Like he takes over as prime minister, and and what it like the kind of courage it took, and him like people like typing notes from him while he's in the bath and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty cool. But like what it was like just mentally on the people and everything during that year of being bombed by the Nazis. So I'm early on, so it's interesting so far though. It's kind of cool.
That's cool. That is
You
cool.
might like it. I'll share it with you.
I'll have to check it out.
All right. Well, I think it's going to wrap it up. No one's come down. I think someone just opened the door. So it's probably time to wrap things up. Yeah, well, I'm Ryan Abraham. That's David Woods. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy all the bowl games. Enjoy the college football playoffs. We enjoy you being part of our little dog and pony show. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you next time.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy holidays.